Alright, so this is types of people you'll see in the airport. Let's start it off with something pretty obvious, the TSA workers. They're always unhappy, they're always grumpy, and they're always mad at you for doing something that was pretty fair to assume, you know? Like, hey, I thought I could just put my shoes in one of those trays, but instead you have to put them separate from the trays, and they find that to be like a crime-level offense. They're like, put your shoes separate! It's like, okay, alright, I'll do that, but only now because you told me. I don't work here, I don't know the rules. You are now telling me the rules, which is your job, and you shouldn't be doing it in an angry manner. Bad customer service. I also feel like they're just making new rules every single time. Like, I don't think there's been a single time I've gone through TSA where there's not some rule that I hadn't followed that I didn't know had to be followed. Usually they want you to take off your shoes, but your socks are fine. This one airport I was at wanted me to take my socks off too, and made that abundantly clear, okay? This guy was yelling at me like he was almost like turned on or something, like, get them socks off, boy. Like, all right, bro. Like it low-key sounded like he was kind of like so aroused at the idea of seeing my toes that he couldn't help himself but to express anger, and I was a little concerned. I don't even know, man. It ruined my mood, even though it was fast and efficient, bro. I just didn't like it.
Before we get into anything real quick, I gotta let you guys know that I am now on Spotify. All the content on this channel will be over on Spotify, and every week I'll be doing an exclusive episode over there if you guys want to see it. And if you don't want to see it, well, just play it so I make money. All right, thanks.
Next up, we got the guy who's scrambling. This makes sense. We've all been there. You know, you're about to miss a flight. You're running to the gate, but you look stupid. Everyone is looking at you like, goddamn, this guy does not have his life together. You look like a Looney Tune. You look like a road runner. It should never get to the point where you're running. And like, I know, you know, things happen, but sometimes I can see it happen in my own eyes, and I'm like, bro, this was so preventable. Like, you know, you're sitting down at the airport overpaying for food, and you're eating the food as slow as humanly possible, like a tortoise, and then the flight is taking off at the expected time, and you just lost track of time. There's no way the airport food was that good that it had to be savored like that. You know what I mean? You should be at the gate by now. There's no dignity in going to the airport anymore. I've seen photos of people from like the 50s in their, you know, tuxedos, and they're all dressed up because flying used to be a thing of class, and now no one cares anymore, right?
We do not care.
You can smell like rancid cheese, and everyone's like, yeah, I mean, that checks out. That's sort of the standard airport fragrance. So with that in mind, just take your food to the gate. You know what I'm saying? Take your food, shove it all in your backpack, shove it all in your pocket, and then walk to the gate so that way they can announce when you have to take off. Also, there's people that are online for TSA that know their flight's gonna take off in like 15 minutes, but, you know, don't try to skip the line. They don't ask anyone if they can skip because they're too afraid to seem confrontational. And I've been there, you know, but the reality is you are either missing your flight or you're gonna be a dick. It's one or the other. I'd rather be a dick headed to my destination than a nice guy who's staying put. Next up, we got the airport crush. Now, everybody saw this coming because everybody's had an airport crush. It's a guy or girl you see while you're at the airport for a fleeting moment, and, you know, you fantasize. You're like, maybe I could marry this person. We're going to the same destination, right? I mean, if they're sitting at the gate and they're watching a YouTube video, what if I struck up a conversation and that led to us getting a hotel once we land? And what if, you know, we have kids, and, you know, you start having these crazy ideas of what you could look like with a life with this person, and then they walk away and you never see them again, or the plane lands and you never see them again. You know, the airport crush is a real thing. And I think then another thing is, if you see a person of the opposite gender or same gender, I mean, hey, you know, fuck it, right? You know, homos can fly. But yeah, if you see someone generally of the opposite gender in the airport that is around your age, even if they're maybe not usually your type or you don't find them super attractive, I think the airport and the fact that you're seeing them in this, you know, circumstance adds like 3 points to their level of physical attractiveness, because it's like mysterious. Like, wow, where could they be going? We're of the same age, and yet we've walked such different paths, yet our paths cross here. What could this mean? The one that's super deadly is if, like, let's say it's a girl, you see her at the security, and then you see her go to the same gate as you, and then you end up sitting next to each other on the flight. At that point, it's on you to make the move. Like, this is no longer a thing where it's a 5-second little nothing burger. This could be something, you know what I'm saying? That's like a How I Met Your Mother level setup right there. You gotta make a move. But ultimately, we never do, because think about it. If you make the move on the plane, you ask her out. Like, what if she says no? You're gonna sit next to her the entire fucking flight for like 4 hours? Awkward! But if it works, you low-key got the first date right there. You can just watch movies on the plane together. Next up, this is actually like a two-piece combo right here. It's the mom who doesn't know how to parent and the kid who won't stop screaming. So basically, this is like a match made in hell for everybody. Match made in heaven for the parent and the kid, because they coalesce so well. The mom who doesn't want to be bothered, and the kid who's never going to be bothered because he's just screaming all the time. Airport screaming baby/toddler is as classic as it gets, it honestly almost feels like more of a safe space for them than pilots, which is concerning. But yeah, you know, you go on the plane and there's always a kid screaming and wailing, and the mom is always gentle parenting, like, sweetie, please stop, mommy's here. How about mommy's gonna throw you into the engine if you don't shut the fuck up? Hey, is that too much? Hey, I mean, are we not a little tired of it? Or are we not? I'm trying to sleep on the plane like a normal person, and your kid is making that impossible. Bro, like, it's so bad when you know it's coming, when you're in the gate with this person and the kid's already acting up, when you see the mom not doing shit, like, you know you're about to be 3,000 feet in the air with this kid or whatever. I don't know, 3,000 feet, 10,000 feet. I don't know, but you're in the air with this entire nightmare. The issue is, when I eventually become a dad and my kid is a screaming brat on the airplane, I'm gonna do the same shit. I'm just gonna be like, hey, calm down. I'm not gonna tell him to shut up. I'm gonna put everyone else through the hell that I've been put through. We're just gonna create a vicious cycle of abuse and keep it alive forever. You know, it's a nice little tradition. Everyone has to understand once they become a parent, they're gonna be hated for the fact they don't tell their kid to shut up, and I'm okay with that because those kids will become parents and the cycle will continue. Next up, we got the overpacker guy. You know, you'll spot this guy immediately because he's trying to stuff a suitcase the size of a refrigerator into the overhead bin. Bro, it's a 3-day trip. Why do you have 6 pairs of shoes? And of course, TSA pulls him aside for having a full-blown skincare routine in his carry-on. You'd think he's moving to another country, but no, he's going to Chicago for a work conference. If you're this guy, you obviously have money, so just check bags like a normal person. Stuff a suitcase full of your essentials, and then go to check it, and then pick it up at the carousel like a normal human. It's crazy to me that they will try to stuff these like massive bags of shit into the overhead bin, and on top of it, they will have no legroom because they've cucked it out of themselves from the sheer amount of also bags of shit at their feet. Next up, we got the guy who falls asleep anywhere. Like, this guy falls asleep in any position at any location at the airport, on the floor, slumped over in a chair, even leaning against a pillar. You're sitting there uncomfortable as hell, wondering how he's not waking up every 5 minutes to neck cramps. This dude probably sleeps through his boarding call as well. What's wild is like the versatility. You know, he can fall asleep on a cold floor tile, wedged between a trash can and a vending machine, or even like sitting upright like a statue, and he's just asleep. You know, does he train for this? You know, let's not forget he's totally unfazed by the chaos around him. You know, announcements blaring, kids screaming, beeping shit. None of it wakes him up. You know, you'll swear that he's missed his flight, but you know, he also has perfect timing. Like, just when you think he's down for the count, he wakes up, grabs his stuff like nothing happened, and casually strolls onto the plane. And meanwhile, you've been awake for hours surviving off caffeine. You're about to pass out during takeoff. So yeah, that's the type of people you'll see at the airport. I probably missed a few, so feel free to comment them down below. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked, be sure to like. If you didn't, leave a dislike. And yeah, see you guys later.